Blessings and welcome. I am Tuesday May Thomas, and this is your weekly tarot energy forecast for April 15th through the 22nd of 2018. Thank you, new subscribers. Every time I go onto my channel, I see there's more and more subscribers, so thank you for logging on and checking out my videos. I really, really appreciate it. And if you're new to this channel, happening over this tarot video for the first time, I welcome you, and I pray and affirm that all of my messages truly serve your higher self and your path of spiritual growth and sovereignty. A special thanks to everyone who joins me on Thursday mornings for my 4D Trinity live stream on YouTube. It is just incredible. 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'll put a link up. I don't know, there's been a couple last ones that have just been off the chain. We've been kind of going on marathons where they've been up to 2 hours or even more than 2 hours, but they're all different sort of timelines. So go to my 4D Trinity playlist if you're interested in learning about bridging fourth dimensional consciousness, that is the consciousness, the truth in your heart that you see through the veils with your third eye, bridging that through the unity of mind, body, and spirit. Now, I usually read with the Osho Zen Tarot, and today I'm guided to pull one overview card from the Voyager deck. Okay, this is by James Wanless. It's a beautiful deck filled with different kinds of collage type art. So let's go ahead and take a moment and close our eyes. We'll take a nice deep breath. We'll call in our angels and guides, our animal totems, and all those blessed, loved light beings who love us unconditionally. We call on your divine wisdom for you to hold space for the most divine and perfect messages to channel through this reading for one and all. And this Voyager deck, we're calling on you to give us one card that will help give us an overview of this next week, April 15th through April 22nd of 2018. This is a general tarot forecast for everyone guided to be here. If you're here right now watching this, there is something here for you, and this is the card. Let's see what it is. Stagnation. Dun, dun, dun. Stagnation is the emotional fatigue, indolence, and flatness you feel when things have begun to run downhill, become sticky and swampy, blocked, dry, or suffocated. The oozing liquid, floral abundance, symbolizes the stagnation you experience as the result of overdoing, overindulging, overdosing, and debauchery. Useless cups and dried up leaves and water represent stagnation from boredom and routine. The closed vase in the center means that this is the time for emotional rest. By shutting down all systems, going within yourself and conserving energy, you rejuvenate and revitalize, a process symbolized by the spring greenness of the vase. Remember, all life comes out of the swamp, so be patient and know that new life is germinating. Well, that's very powerful, right? Because it kind of reminds me of the lotus growing out of the mud, the lotus leaf, right? The lotus leaf, plant, flower, growing out from the mud. So perhaps you feel this way. Perhaps you feel there are certain things in your life that you're ready to shift, you're ready to change. There has been such an ongoing theme with these readings of just so much rebirth, so much realization, shift, change, and growth. So let's see how that card serves the overview of our full reading. And just as a reminder, I am doing a spring special. If you go down to the Show More box, you will see a contact email for me. Drop me an email if you're interested. I'm doing a special on my pricing for my 30-minute and 45-minute readings. I read over FaceTime and I use PayPal. I'll send you all the info. Just drop me an email. So let's go ahead and come on into our Osho Zen Tarot deck. Taking a breath and calling on the divine guidance here. Again, all our angels, our guides, beloved wisdom of the Most High love and light, we call you in. We call you in to this reading, April 15th through April 22nd of 2018. We call on your divine wisdom. Okay, we had a few fall out. Let's see what they are. Adventure. Okay, we had this one recently. Experiencing. Very beautiful. Interesting. Revitalization. This is like the opposite. This is like, look at all the juicy chi and prana in this one compared to our stagnation card. So we'll get over into that. Comparison. Okay, a card of the minds, and again, or a card of the mind, and again, we'll get back to that here shortly. We'll go ahead and keep shuffling and see what other divine, blessed inspiration, divine signs, signals are here for us through these cards. Okay, we just had 1 or 2 poppers. I'm guided to keep going. I sign myself into the keynote of everyone guided to watch this reading, that I may serve in truly honoring and being a clear channel for the most high messages that are seeking to come through, that serve not only you, but me and one and all. Everyone guided to be here now. Okay, I'm getting to stop. So we did have 3. We had 2 that fell out here, and then 1 that fell on the floor. Creativity. Juicy, beautiful. Again, full-on color. Healing. And sorrow. So we've been going through this. We have been going through this release. We've had sorrow. This is the 2nd week in a row, I believe. So let's go ahead and see what else is here for us. Okay, we just had another one fall. Consciousness. Amazing. Okay, let's keep going. What divine guidance do we have? Okay, we're going to stop here. Intensity and politics. Interesting. So let's go ahead and put these together and see what's going on here. So with this 8 of Cups, the stagnation card at the very top, our adventure, experiencing, comparison on the top row, our creativity, healing, and sorrow in the middle, and intensity, consciousness, and politics on the very bottom. So, okay. We are going through a massive passage of renewal. And it is so interesting that we got that stagnation card at the very beginning, because that fully symbolizes sort of like allowing everything to dry up, allowing everything to completely, like all the water to be dried out of the vessel, so that the new waters can be poured in. And it's almost like, I don't know, whenever you clean a car's engine, you have to fully like clean it out, right? Whenever you do a detox on your body, and for some reason a colonoscopy is coming to mind. I know a friend who just had one done, and they had to drink all this funky stuff and like not eat and eat only certain things and up until the day, and just clear their whole chute out, if you will, so that they could have this operation. No, so that they could have the colonoscopy to see clearly, right, what's going on inside, and then they could reboot, start eating, start drinking, again. And so there's this sense of this. There's this sense of allowing those dried flowers, allowing that bouquet, allowing that whatever it is to find its full-on death, allowing things. Oh, and didn't we have this last week where we're recognizing? I mean, we've had this for a couple weeks now, where we're recognizing this completion. Are we allowing completion to happen? Are we allowing the shifts to occur so that change can come into our sphere, so that change can tap us on the shoulder and invite us into knowing who we are as that changed being, as that alchemated, right, transformed version of yourself that you are? Because the adventure awaits, yet we need to, well, I don't like saying we need to, but the guidance here is, again, remember this was last week, it's like really letting things die, really letting things complete, and that was the way. I'll put a link here later of our tarot reading from last week, because that was the massive theme, is letting things completely complete, but you consciously creating the conditions, whether it was in an energy letter, whether it was by making a phone call, writing an email, in a prayer, in your meditation, really letting things come to click to that completion zone, so that you could see the new pathway that you couldn't see as long as you were still sort of dealing and within the veils of those things from the past. So all that stuff is drying up. All that stuff that has been stagnant, that's been collecting like the leaves in a drain and just blocking the flow of water. It's like, just let it get to its fullness. Let it get to the complete point where there's no more water moving through. And then pull that plug, right? Clear it out, cleanse it out, right? Take all your juices, do your detox, whatever it is. Acknowledge, though, that a certain part of your life has ended, because what's here is there's this whole new path waiting for you, this whole new adventure of your life. And I always say with this card that this card is the orgasmic life. This is you fully living your truth. And you know what? This is such a theme for us. We continue to go back to this living your truth theme, but because it is the truth, because it is a part of our experience. And there's so much in you. There's so much integral, authentic wisdom within you. And we're just peeling back the layers. We're peeling back the layers of truth, of the illusion, really, to get deeper into the truth, to see who we are and who we want to be, given the circumstances in our life, and what aspects we want to change so that we can have a different life experience. So again, completing, let the old dry up. You know, I remember years ago, one of my favorite yoga teachers, Ruth Lawler in New York. She's a Jiva Mukti yoga teacher, and I studied with her for years in New York. And she would always give a talk at the beginning of her classes, and she said, "Oh my," she said, "I was cleaning my altar." And she says, wow, I guess it had been a long time since I really checked out my altar. You know, she said she would sit there every day and meditate, but she really kind of had to look around. And she had at one point given fruits as an offering to Ganesha or whatever, and, you know, this and this and this. But she said she picked up the fruit. She said the lemon was all moldy and funky, and like the, you know, the flowers that were fresh that she had once laid there as an offering on the altar were like all dried up, right? Stagnant. And she was like, oh man, I guess I better do something about this. And she had only realized that that altar had been like that for several weeks, and she was just unconscious of it, or she was busy, and she was, you know, she would still find her time to sit and meditate or say her prayers, her chanting or whatnot. But until one morning where she zeroed in and she realized, like, man, I need to clean this out. I need to like renew, polish the altar, reset, you know, whatever your things are. So in that way, whether it is your altar, whether it is your body as your altar, but there's this renewal that's calling for us, this like acknowledging of what's not there. You know, raking the leaves. It's spring. There's a lot of beautiful new flowers that are seeking to bloom, right? Yet there's also a point of like, well, let's clear that winter hedge. Let's clear those winter leaves that have fallen that might still be in your yard, those winter emotional leaves that have fallen that might still be in the yard of your heart. What is there ready to complete and let go with? Because this beautiful, beautiful adventure of you living more and more of your true, authentic self is waiting for you. This is the astral, and what I mean by that is that these colors here represent a life that is beyond the life that you know now. And we all have this potential. We all have those parts in us where we're living and we're blessed and we bless our lives and we're grateful. Yet, you know there's more to you. And as long as you're alive, there's more to you. There's more parts of you seeking to be shown, seeking to be seen by you, and seeking to be shared. Just because it's a part of you being you and you being turned on. And this is so, so very juicy and powerful experiencing. You know, we've just gotten so glued to our phones. We've gotten so used to having conversations with AI, you know, and it's not a bad thing. Yet there's a different experience. There's a different experience when we turn all that stuff off and we allow ourselves to go into nature. We allow ourselves even to sit in our meditation and listen to nature. Like even right now, sitting here recording this, I can hear this like massive, like just all these birds and hummingbirds flying by, zooming by, and the trees swaying in the wind. And it's a different set point. It's a different level of consciousness than constantly being glued at your phone, you know? And I know it's difficult because we have become a collective that is becoming addicted, whether you're a spiritual person or not. Like that's the chip, you know, in a way, that's the new chip. Like that's how we're all connected now. And it's very even difficult to find a payphone out there because like they're almost like dinosaurs. They very rarely exist. So there is a sense of like wanting to stay in the loop, wanting to stay connected, but there's a part of you that is really, really seeking to turn it all off and to go outside and to hug a tree. And look at these colors under her beautiful robe, right? She's like being so charged up just by touching Mother Nature, by being with Mother Nature. She is getting so much chi, so much charge, so much life force, so much healing from just leaning in and feeling supported by nature. And those colors under her robe match the colors of you going into your adventure. So there's a link here. There's a link here, and for a lot of people, it's a really busy life and there's a lot of things to do and there can be stress. And when we're living in that mode, it's very challenging and difficult to remember who we are authentically or to do our work on ourselves on a daily basis, which is tuning in, to our higher self, connecting with that, doing the integration work of then embodying that and being that in the world, whatever that is for you. So nature is calling this week. She wants to heal you. She wants to offer you a healing. And in that healing, it's almost like she gives way to that cleaning of the altar, to that like clearing out, to that all that debris, all that stuff that's been gunked up. Whether you feel like it's in your channels, whether you feel like it's gunky stuff in your mind, or you've just been like emotionally constipated or physically constipated, there's like Mother Earth is saying like, come to me, baby, come. Let me hug you, just touch me, just give me your time and your attention and I will replenish you. That's what she's saying this week. So go, because again, it's through that replenishment. Just how our thing was last week, our message was, it's through your completion that you have then this availability to see this part of your new vision of where your higher self, of where your heart wants to guide and take you, which is your adventure of life. Now, comparison, here we have this comparison. Your adventure is not like anyone else's adventure. We all have, I love what Marianne Williamson says. She says we all have a personalized curriculum here in our life. So what is your personalized curriculum in this life? We don't know that unless we sit and we be still and we be quiet. And until we know and trust our own personalized curriculum, those divine things that call us, that guide us, unless we allow ourselves to begin to explore them, then we never know who we truly are. We never know our full potential. And it's okay, we're taking all this stuff in baby steps, yet when we're out of tune, right, with Mama Earth and with our sense of our true, integral, authentic adventure in life and what that means to you and how you turn yourself on to like be enabled to live that, whether it's baby step at a time or big massive leaps at a time, when we're not connected to that, then we're looking around ourselves, we're looking on our phones, and we're comparing our situation to other people. We're comparing our income to others. We're comparing our attractiveness to others, our, financial status, our, oh, they have so many followers and I have so many likes, or, just whatever, all this stuff that's really, it's 3D. It's relevant, but it's kind of superficial. And this whole top row is saying like, your authentic self is calling you. Your higher self is calling you. Make time. And it is such a beautiful time now. Spring is here and it's just gorgeous. I pray it's gorgeous wherever you are. It's time though to start to go outside, and maybe for you it's just like raking those old leaves off the lawn, out of your yard, going out and puttering around in your garden and like, doing a little shrubbery and pulling out the old dead leaves and trimming a few plants. There's a grounding. There's a sense of like, just leave that, honey, don't even take your phone. Don't even put music on that phone and try to be all in that phone. Just shut it off. Just stop. Just be, right? And listen to Mother Earth, to Mother Nature. There is a symphony going on constantly. And that symphony has your name written all over it. It has all of our names written all over it. And when we, again, allow ourselves to be still and just be present with it, it's like hitting a reset button. And it's so beautiful. On this next row, we have creativity and healing and sorrow. And it makes me think about this healing and sorrow. This is like we've been having this theme for a minute now. And it doesn't surprise me because sometimes healing is spontaneous and it's just like that. And we shift and we move, from being one version of ourselves, right? We've been going through the caterpillar to the larva in the cocoon to the butterfly, and then learning how to fly in our wings and learning, to trust our inner GPS and where that's taking us. And that's what this adventure is calling about. That's what this stagnation is saying, like, don't despair. This is a natural part of the cycle, but this is like the death cycle. But we're not supposed to stay in the death cycle forever, right? There's a rebirthing. There's new life, and it's waiting for you. Now, maybe you're still going through this healing, right? A healing of the mind, a healing of the heart, and a healing of your third dimensional body, literally of the third dimensional body. And this is a beautiful, beautiful card. And actually this speaks to the emotional healing, the aspect of our emotions healing, and that it's right next to sorrow, right? It tells me that we're not done. It tells me that there's still a few more steps. I know I've been fully advocating doing our energy letters. I'll put a link here later. It's a metaphysical energy tool whereby you learn how to write a letter from your higher self to someone else's higher self, but there's so many different ways that you can access it. I also have a blog. Later I'll come back and I'll put a link to that blog on the energy letter downstairs, down below in the show more box as well. But it's like this is a part of our healing. This is a part of the way that we do the work as you're guided. It's just one tool. I know in this last week though, I've written several energy letters, and if you follow me on Instagram, you saw one of them go down in the fire where I burned it. And one of them was an email. I've been having some issues with someone, like some really deep issues that I didn't with a teacher. And I was like, oh, man, like, do I say something? And for weeks I've been like, do I say something? Do I not say something? I really need to say something. I don't know if I want to keep studying with this person, but I love them. And it's like this weird thing. And so I sat down and I wrote an email to them, and I was almost going to hit send. And my higher self was like, nope, this is your energy letter. Don't write send. This was for you to express, right? Yet at the same time, the information that I did put in the email energetically, metaphysically reached that person, because when I went to the class the next week, it was a whole new world. It was a whole new fucking world. It was like they totally got the memo. They totally got the energy memo. And that's how the energy letters work. It's like you just get to express your truth, heal, express yourself, let those tears fall, let that shift of that energy, and again, this speaks to this stagnation. Like, where are we holding on? Where are our lemons getting moldy? Where are our internal leaves drying up? It's like the healing is calling for us. Our adventure is calling for us. And for some, it is about shedding a few tears. And for some, it's like, I need to go receive a healing. I need to go receive a Reiki healing. I want to go and lay on the earth, take a blanket and a book, and do Reiki on myself and pull my plugs and, release. I'll put a link here later for our my pulling the plugs from the soles of the feet meditation. It's only about 10 minutes long, and it's so intense and juicy in like releasing and clearing. And my friends, I know there's a whole bunch, a beautiful part of my community that watch this, and a lot of my Reiki students that watch this. When's the last time you pulled your plugs? Sometimes I forget too, and like I get all like frustrated, and then I'm like, oh, hello, I haven't pulled my plugs in like a week. Let me just like uncross my legs, pull my plugs, and let all of this stagnant stuff, all this stuff that's gotten gunked in and caked in and baked in, just for the highest good, let me let go, so I can reset, so I can, we're healing ourselves. We are healing ourselves. We're learning to heal ourselves so that we can be this conscious participant. Out of all of these cards, this is the only major arcana card, creativity. And no matter what you do or how you see yourself in this world, we are all creative beings. And isn't it the 15th? It is the new moon on the 15th. It's the new moon. So there's these beautiful opportunities energetically for you to redefine how you do your life. And I know some of you are married, some of you have kids, and you have to kind of like do your life according to like the community, in your household that you share with. But it doesn't mean you have to fully sacrifice yourself. It doesn't mean you can't do you. And that's what this card is saying. This card is saying, do you, and let yourself look at this crown of little beautiful shiny stars. Look at all the swirls. You can either interpret that as chokurei or the spirals of us ascending. right? Out of the density of the third dimension and into that 4D consciousness, into that heart center where we're playful, where we want to pull out those old paintbrushes, where we want to get the pencil, we want to write some poetry, we want to write like an erotic love letter to our lover, or you know what I mean? Like all these juicy things that we just forget about when we're always on our phones, or when we're always stressed out, or we're just like working too much, you know? So there's a call, and what I'm calling it, I know for me, is like it's the Renaissance. The Renaissance has returned. For me, I'm starting to sing again. For years, I was a singer, played all over, did recordings. I was a dancer, belly dancer. There was all this stuff, creatively, art, painting, writing, all this stuff, and I had put that away. Now, granted, I've been writing books and creating that on that level, but like lately, I've been like picking up the guitar and like singing a little bit, and like the paintbrushes made it out from the cupboard where they had gathered dust, and now they're on the kitchen table. I haven't actually started using them yet, but they're there. It's like slowly I'm like, this is a renaissance. I'm feeling like it's time to start painting again. It's time to start at least creating the correct conditions so that when I feel that, the paintbrushes are there, the paint is there, the canvas is there. And so this is, I'm just giving you these juicy ideas. How does this represent itself in your life? How can you create more of you in your life, more space for you to be creative in your life? And again, look at these colors, astral colors. These are not colors, the astral realm, there's so many definitions, but it is, there's so many definitions, but for the sake of this reading, what we're going to talk about is that these are the colors that we don't see here on Earth. These pastel-y kind of astrally colors represents that which is beyond the Earth, that which is, yes, connected to the Earth, yet the Earth is like a vortex. The Earth is like a vortex, a wormhole, what's the word I'm looking for? A portal. The world is like the Earth. The world is, the 3D is a portal to this pastel, to this astral plane where life is very different. Life is actually really easy, where your emotions are not dragging you around like wild horses, where you have your center, where everything flows, where you're in tune with Mother Earth, with Mother Nature, where you're, yes, of course, we always meditate, right? That's our thing here. Meditate, meditate, meditate. And hey, we have our consciousness card at the bottom, so that's coming up, our little reminder about that. Yet, this is what's really called for this week, is to be in a sincere relationship with your practices, with your truth about yourself. Allowing yourself, again, to clear the garden, to be outside in nature, to pull your plugs, to reflect, right? I believe we're still in this Mercury retro. We're coming to the end phases of it. And so, like, what other stones are there in your life that you still haven't turned over? What's going on with work? What's going on with your work colleagues? What's going on with your finances? Or is there a job that you really need to say, like, namaste, I need to move on? Or is there a job that you're guided to, like, I want to apply for that job, but I just haven't gone yet? Like, what are these things that are calling you to be present in? It's time now. It's time to start allowing yourself to complete turning over those stones and looking at, what you haven't looked at. Allow the healing to take place where it's healing, where you are ready to heal, so that you can rise. Because remember, our new vision, right, was afloat, and this intensity card is us. Shoo. Look at this being here. This is you, white light, white light. Look at this intensity. Intensity. This is a card of fire. This is you on fire. Fine point, fine pointed. You are clear. And it's that beautiful thing where you're not pushing. You're not pushing to make things happen. But when you happen, when you allow yourself to go on the adventure of self, that juicy orgasmic adventure of self, and you allow yourself to be that conscious co-creator and manifest from a place of divine, divinity within your heart, what happens is you gain momentum. You gain momentum. The universe creates the winds, right, that put that wind in your sails, that just naturally guide you and take you where you are guided to go, where you are needed to go to fulfill your adventure, where all of the financial needs are met, where you have the right kind of food, the right kind of community, the right kind of home and shelter. Just everything takes care of itself, right? Yet, you taking care of yourself first is the most important message about this week's reading, so that you can let go and let God or let love and be taken care of. Now, the last two cards here, it's interesting. They're both cards of the clouds. Again, we have our consciousness card, which is fully always here to remind us that we are on this path of moving into deeper and deeper levels of consciousness, of activating that third eye. You know, there's a really powerful meditation that I have. I'll put a link here later. Pineal gland. It's a pineal gland meditation. And this is seeing through the veils of illusion. Look at all the clouds around the Buddha, but the Buddha is turned on. The Buddha's turned within. And the Buddha nature is activated. And so the Buddha might look asleep, but the Buddha is wide awake. Wide awake. Or as the slang in our community these days, Buddha's woke. This is a very interesting card to end on, politics. And I think we need to pull another one or two cards, because this card speaks to the bullshitter. It speaks to the manipulator. It speaks to, this could be you, this could be us, this could be someone in your midst that that could be a part of your story of like of your healing, right? Of you getting to go on your adventure. There could be a bully in the way, right? Of you going on your adventure. The bully could be yourself, right? This could be a story that you're housing. Are you a victim? Are you saying, well, I can't go on my adventure because of XYZ, elemental P? You know what? But that's just a story. Take that mask off. What's underneath that, though, is another mask. And this is the thing with politics, is that this is fully, how do I say it? What you see is not what you get. What you see is not what you get. So there's illusion. There's mental trickery, there's fakery, there's manipulation, there's a sleight of hand. It's politics in a way, where it's like, let's make a deal. And you know, I know someone, and I really hold a dear space in my heart for her, but I had to kind of stop hanging out with her. This is several years ago, because everything was an exchange with her. Like every interaction was an exchange. She wanted something for something. And I was like, can't we just hang out? Like, why do we need to like bargain or make a deal every time like we hang out? And that, you know, I played that game for a while. And then I was like, I took off my mask and I was like, that's not me. You know, I need to take off another mask and get down to the truth and eventually be very honest with her and with myself. And I called her out on it, and I was like, I don't like the way we're exchanging. I need to move on from this. And why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because, are there people in your life, right, that are playing the politician, that are cock blocking you from living your true adventure, living your true, authentic, integral path? Also, though, this card speaks to, again, that part of us that's allowing the bully, allowing the cock blocker to block our truth, to block our full power and authority. We allow them to get in the way, and we make an excuse and be like, well, the cock blocker's there. There's nothing I can do. No. Okay, so let's get a little more insight on this. As we're guided, if that's enough, then we'll see if there's one or two more cards maybe for this week's reading. And if otherwise, then we'll end. But let's just see if our guides, our angels, want to give us a little bit more insight, clarification on this politics card. Okay, we have one. Let's just stop there and see. The dream. Oh, wait, we need to pull one more. This is interesting. What? Okay. We'll break it down here shortly. Let's go ahead and just shuffle, take a breath. Oh. The Harmony card. Okay. How do we put these together? Does the dreamer and harmony have anything to do with politics? Yes, it does. Okay. So again, so that aspect of the politics, the cock blocking energy, that like excuse, that reason why it can't just be you living your truth in your full power and authority, like why, what's holding you back? Are you holding you back? What's your story? Can you drop the story? Can you change the story? Can you heal the story? Is the story to be healed? Right? Can you tell someone in your life, like, I don't want you to tell me that story anymore. That's not true to me. Let's change the way we talk about this. Let's change the way we see this. Let's start to heal this, because this isn't serving my authentic path, and I don't feel like I can be my full self, you know, and that's what it's about. And so here, the dreamer card, that's us, or the dream. That's us sitting and looking over our shoulder and looking at ourselves being, you know, just fully embraced by this big, beautiful Fabio kind of a person, you know. And this card speaks to male and females because it might be romantic. It might be a romantic thing that you're going through right now, where you're like, you know, thinking about someone special and looking over, thinking, you know, what would it be like to be with them, and kind of swooning over them, right? But they're not here. It's a dream, right? That's the thing, is it's a dream. And this is the part of you that's saying like, oh, what would it be like, right? To fully embrace myself. To fully embrace myself and go forth on my adventure. What would it be like to stand up to the bully, right? Because on one hand, yeah, this is us imagining, you know, being daydreaming about some hunk or some, you know, hottie or whatever. But at the same time, honey, this is you hugging you. This is you supporting you. This is you saying, I got my back. And this is you looking out over yonder and thinking like, what would it really be like if I did have my back? If I really fully supported myself, if I called the bully out, if I called the cock blocker out, if I took off my own mask, who would I be then? Who would I be then? What kind of creative elements would I bring into my life? What kind of flow and intensity and fire would that light my fire with? Would that turn me on to life with? And we end on harmony, which is so very powerful. Which means the only way to your heaven on earth, to your blissful, peaceful passage here, is to be true to yourself. To be true to yourself. The dolphins represent you breathing, taking life in, you know, and I know there's a lot of smokers that watch this. I smoke cigarettes from time to time, so I'm included in that. But I know for you know, I have clients and stuff and that are heavy smokers, where they smoke, you know, a pack or more a week. And sometimes those breaths that they take with the cigarettes are the deepest breath that they actually take. Like when they're not puffing a smoke, or if you're, you know, if you really like the herbal medicine, marijuana. Is that the deepest breath you're taking? Can you, you know, consciously take some deep breaths when you sit and you meditate, like really deep, like really deep, like really deep. Like what I call it when I teach yoga is cresting the breath, where you fill up, and then you fill up even more and more and more, like a wave, cresting until you can't breathe anymore, and then you and you blow everything out, like you're just squeezing out the lungs like a sponge. That's a part of our, you know, that's a part of our detoxing. That's a part of our clearing the garden of self, getting all that stagnant, those moldy orange or moldy lemons, or those old dried up leaves out of the garden, right? That's a part of our healing. It's a part of our healing. So it's saying breathe this week. Consciously breathe. That, you know, when we consciously deeply breathe, I mean, there's schools all around the world, yoga schools, that are dedicated to pranayama and breathing techniques. Because it shifts your consciousness. It shifts your consciousness. It plugs you into the bigger vision, the higher vision, the love and light version of this collective reality, this collective experience that we share together. And so we're guided this week to breathe deeply and to look into your dolphin totems. If dolphin resonates with you, and even if you've already looked up dolphin totem like a million times, look again. Look again, or look somewhere else. Get a different definition. They represent the breath. They represent the miracle. They represent, look at this. Heart center connected to the third eye. And that's a beautiful meditation. Breathe from your heart. Breathe into your heart and out through your third eye. In through your heart and out through your third eye. Creatively, how can you use your breath work this week to connect the dots of healing, to connect new levels of circuitry within you? And hey, while you're in nature this week, use your breathing, like close your eyes. I know when I go to the park and I take the staff and I'm barefoot and I'm just like, and I hold on to a tree and I breathe consciously, like there is a transmission, like Mother Earth, like all of Mother Earth, not just that tree. And that tree has enough wisdom in itself, right? But all of Mother Earth. She's connected to all of Mother Earth. She literally has roots. I mean, we're connected to Mama Earth too. But honey, she's got roots down in Mother Earth, right? Putting your hands on Mother Earth, on Mother Nature, whether it's the dirt or the trees, there's a transmission. She gives you nourishment, fortification, clarity, grounding. She helps to ground all this stuff. She helps, she's like a lubricant. Remember we were talking about constipation? Emotional or physical or, colonoscopy kind of stuff where we're prepping, the body to release. Well, when you breathe deeply and you're out in nature and you're letting Mama Nature welcome it in and come in, those masks, right? The stuff, the tar body, those layers of tars that keep those masks that we wear, and meshed and like stuck on us, that begins to lubricate, it begins to loosen it so that those masks of untruth of who we think we are free to be released so that we can become who we truly are more and more. And that's the journey. And you're never ending. You're never ending. There's more to you and there's more to you. And it's beautiful. And we don't have to rush. Yet the guidance is this week, right? Clear the garden, your inner garden. Maybe it's the outside yard. When's the last time you cleaned your altar? If you have an altar, do that kind of work this week. So you can be in tune with this innocence, with this divine adventure that is just so easy and so blessed and so blissed. Ask anyone who's truly on an integral, authentic spiritual path. Yes, when we first turn on our heart light, for many people, I won't speak for everyone, but I know for many people, like healing, we think, I had a friend who was like, I decided this year, in 2018, he's like, I decided this year I'm going to heal my life, and then he starts healing his life and he's like, ugh. He's like, fuck this. Because all the shit comes up, right? All the pain and all the sorrow and all the guilt and the shame and just all that stuff. But that's because we learn how to become our own healer. We learn how to overcome that. And light at the end of the tunnel. Light is always here, but it seems that you're in a dark place, but as you move through it, you're like rejuvenated, reborn, and then you're like the reset button comes. And all the BS, all the bullshit drops away. And you're able to relax in your authentic, integral self, right? And hear those divine messages from your higher self. And take heed of those invitations from the Most High that are welcoming you, that are waiting for you, right? To experience harmony, heaven on earth, so that you stop sitting around being the dreamer and having the dream of what your life can be and actually start doing it. I have a dream. My dream is actually, I have a lot of dreams. But with the humpback whales, I have a lot of dreams with the humpback whales. One of them, though, is to swim with the humpback whales. And I'm like, I'll even be satisfied just to kayak with the humpback whales and to meet them, to see them from a distance even. 6 years ago for my birthday, I went way up north here in the States and visited my sister, and we took kayaks. We flew up there, took a ferry for 3 hours and a bus to the van, to the truck, to the thing, and finally to the kayaks. And then we kayaked like 5, 6, 7 miles out there. No whales. And I was like, I cried. We came home and I was like, I totally thought I was going to see the whales. Well, anyway, I guess it just wasn't time yet. And I've been out numerous times whale watching. They're like my people, those humpback, right? But I've never seen them. Only in pictures, right? Or in movies or nature shows. And I haven't met them yet. And I'm like, that's it. You know, so for my birthday next month in May, I've already pre-booked it. I'm going up to Northern Cali and I'm going to kayak with the humpback whales. And so anyway, the point is that I could sit around and be disappointed and just dream about it. Dream about, you know, maybe one day swimming with the humpback whales, maybe one day having conversations with them, maybe one day using their whale tones in healing with Reiki, maybe, you know, being out on a boat and like really literally like recording, you know, recording their sounds and doing ceremony and talking to them. I mean, this is all part of my dream. But you know what? It wouldn't become actualized if I didn't keep believing and knowing and trusting and having faith and going beyond it just being a dream. Let me get out there and book this trip and have faith, right? So whatever's happened in the past, like with me 6 years ago, was where I was crushed, and for my birthday I didn't see the whales, and I traveled thousands of miles and we did this whole thing to go see them, and they weren't there. Or maybe they were there and it wasn't time for me to actually see them, right, in the 3D. And I could have let that crush me. And I could have been like, well, fuck that. It's never going to happen, right? And I could go into victim mode, which is a story. Or I can breathe and I can decide to have faith, keep going on my adventure, because I've been through this, right? Connect with Mother Earth and let the divine, the intensity, the fire of my own heart, the fire of my own truth, take me and lift me into the arms of whatever experience it's going to be, because it's my adventure. You're invited this week to make way, to clear the old, to lay down those masks, to release the past still. Keep releasing, keep turning over those stones so that you can further yourself living your adventure. So I invite you, in closing, for this reading this week, I invite you to make a move, right? If you want to kayak with the whales, you know, book a date, book a weekend. Oh, but I'm too busy and the kids. No, just like decide, just figure it out. The more that we make space and time for those things that are true in our heart, the universe opens the way for us. The universe creates the perfect circumstances so that the babysitter, so that your husband or so your wife can take care of her, your dogs, or whatever, all the stuff that needs, the minutia that needs to be taken care of. I can't afford it. Well, honey, yes, you can. Yes, you can. If it's in your heart and it's true and it's a part of your authentic true story, you're part of your true orgasmic adventure, then the divine will pay for it, right? You just get to meditate and listen to show me, where do you want me to go? You know, what do you want me to say? What would you have me say and to who? So that you can allow yourself to create the correct conditions for that happenstance, for the miracle of the money to come, for the miracle, for the free invitation to happen. You know, I think so often we try to control things, or we try to think that things need to come to fruition in the way that we've learned that the 3D works, but we are multidimensional people. And the more that we tune into our multidimensional, you know, being, through our meditations, through our conscious breathing, through being still in nature, through turning off those devices, if even just for, you know, short spurts, little fasts. You know, although I appreciate it, I know you're on a device of some sort watching this, and I pray and I affirm that these messages serve you. So, may you enjoy a beautiful, blessed week. If you're not on my mailing list, go down to that Show More box, my website. It's the first thing you'll see down there. At my website, you subscribe at my website and you will receive my monthly, what I call a love letter, at my mailing list. I'll keep you informed of all my juicy offerings. Links to my books are down below as well. And again, send me an email if you're interested in receiving a one-to-one tarot reading with so much love and so much namaste. Enjoy a powerful, beautiful, blessed week.